Welcome back to the Cutting Room Podcast with your host, the Mass Creative, Damian King. It is a real honor. I'm really excited for this episode because I am bringing in my first in-person guest here in the studio on the Cutting Room Podcast. I usually like to introduce my guest, but let's have him do it himself.
Hey, thank you so much, Damien. Which camera's on?
It would be
All right. Let me do it how we do it in the ring. All right. From the movie screen to the wrestling ring, D.R.E is in the building with the one and only Damien King.
awesome.
Good to see you, brother.
That was awesome. That's awesome. So I want to get right into it, like how I heard about you, how this came to be, how we came today. I was scrolling through Instagram and I came across Mongo Santino's page, and I see a man in a badass outfit on a balcony. And right from the get-go, I just said, like, there's something about this post and this promo that I just got to watch the whole thing.
Oh,
Sure enough, it was your debut match that you were promoting with Santino Brothers. And I'm like, I got to go to this show. Ended up going, shooting some footage. And sure enough, your match came up. What a perfect debut, honestly. Really good job.
Thank you so much, bro. That means a lot, dude. Yeah, my fiance actually mentioned you were filming, and you actually came up to her,
Right after the
introduced.
match.
Yeah. So when I heard that after, like that kind of blew me away that someone would drive to watch a debut
Mhm.
match of just
No.
just recent graduate.
No, and it's really rare because it was rare for me to see a debut match. I haven't been doing this very long. I'm barely going on a year of doing all this content creating and doing all this. So the indie scene I'm very new to. A lot of people I don't think know that, or all these names. Sometimes it's the first time I meet them, the first time I hear about them. People I meet at shows, I tend to like, hey, what could you tell me about this person or her? And what's their thing? And when I saw the gimmick you were working, I'm like, I got to get him in the studio. We got to do an interview. It fits.
Yeah.
You're really directing pretty much your career in a way, and in more ways than one. And it's really awesome because that gimmick is not done. It's original, and that's very rare in pro wrestling. But let's get right into it. Where did you grow up?
I mainly grew up in Norwalk, and Norwalk moved around.
Mhm.
I always it was funny because Norwalk is the only LA County city that I grew up in, and then when we moved around, we always went to like either La Palma
Mhm.
or La Habra, just borderline LA Orange County.
Did you go to Glen or did you go to Norwalk High School?
No, that's another thing. I went to Calvary Chapel Downey.
Okay.
That was yeah. So we moved to La Palma. I went to Calvary Chapel, and then at my junior year, I went to OSHA, Orange County School of the Arts.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, before I started getting into acting, I wanted to become a director, writer and director. So that's where I started going to school for that. Well, not college, but it was just a high school. But we had film electives and all that. I just learned a lot.
Okay.
Learned a lot on how to just be an artist and just present content for myself. Yeah.
And how did pro wrestling get introduced to you?
Oh, when I was a kid. It's kind of blurry just because my brother, he's older, and my aunt, we would all grow up and just watch wrestling together. And I would gotta say I grew up near the tail end of the Attitude Era and then going into the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Okay.
Yeah. And my brother and I would always do the typical like Jeff Hardy swanton bombs off the bed and just rock bottoms to each other. So that was a big influence for sure growing up.
So the Life and Death of the Machines, does that title ring a bell to you?
Life and Death of the Machines.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. So I went to community college in what was it, Cyprus, and I took a documentary class. So I've always had a love of documentaries, like from Werner Herzog, all the way to, man, I'm blanking on film directors. I love that two documentaries.
It happens.
Yeah. But a main influence was Werner Herzog. So I we had a a project that we had to do, 8-10 minute documentary. And originally, funny enough, I was trying to look for wrestlers, and I hit up a couple wrestlers if I could shoot a documentary on them. Then no one got back to me,
Okay.
which sucked. But I went to this animatronics guy.
Okay.
He did some stuff. I believe it was like Jurassic Park back in the day. Just a lot of the old films that we grown up with. And I hit him up. He hit me back up the next day. Went over to his house, filmed, interviewed him, filmed all his little gadgets that he made.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's a deep cut. How do you know that?
I actually did my homework with you, and I
Oh
also
shit.
saw that you sound designed them correctly. Was it sound design something you were trying to do, or you just always felt like you wanted to be a director?
Man, well, main thing was wanting to be director. And then I didn't have money to hire anybody.
Mhm.
So I just tried to do everything myself. I'm pretty sure I didn't even use the right programs
Mhm.
for sound effects. I just did whatever I could on whatever I was using, like Final Cut
Mhm.
at the time. Trying to do something on Logic or Ableton. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny you mentioned that.
Do you have top films of all time?
Top films of all time. Ooh. The the first two are always gonna be Blade Runner.
Oh well, okay,
Yeah.
nice.
And The Tree of Life.
The Tree of Life. I haven't seen
Yeah.
that one. I never got into that one.
Oh, no,
Uh,
no. So Tree of Life. Have you heard of Terrence Malick,
of
the
course.
direction?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So his way of storytelling, um, just the way he plays with time, and he
Mhm.
does with all of his movies.
Mhm.
He plays with time with the editing or just even storyline in general. Um, is something I fell in love with, you know. And so Terrence Malick is probably my favorite director of all time,
Okay.
and Blade Runner is just a classic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. My favorite director of all time is Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh hell yeah.
Boogie Nights, Magnolia, There Will Be
Yeah.
Blood. I've always loved how Paul Thomas knows how to dance with the camera, and that's
Yeah.
something I've always incorporated with my stuff. Like that was a huge influence for me, especially like the opening shot to Boogie Nights. I've never been able to talk like this.
Yeah.
Like I'm so like ramped up right now because the opening shot to Boogie Nights, it's the funeral parlor music that's playing and it's black and then it starts with dun 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 dun, and it's this panning shot and it's one complete shot that we go through from the outside of the club. We go in there and we're introduced to these characters all in one shot.
Yeah.
And I've always loved that, and it's so good. It's stuff like when I shoot it pro wrestling matches or I shoot anything, I've always been inspired by Paul
Yeah.
Thomas's style, and I'm really glad I've gotten into all his films.
Oh my god. Yeah. Like that. And speaking of Boogie Nights, especially when they have the New Year's party,
Mhm.
that scene.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that
oh
scene.
and yeah,
Just one take of just all this. Everyone's having a good time,
mhm. And
and you.
then Bill
Yeah.
flashing his wife, and then so bad, and then what was it Philip Seymour Hoffman expressing his love for
Yeah.
Dirk,
I'm
and
an
I'm an
idiot.
idiot. Oh, I
Yeah, dude.
great scene, great film. If anybody's never seen it, Boogie Nights, highly
Yeah.
recommend it. Mark Wahlberg at his best. He's always done good,
Hmm.
but Dirk Diggler is a classic character.
Yeah.
So coming back to pro wrestling, how did the Santino brothers come in your radar? How did you step through those doors?
Oh, okay. So, kind of taking it back a little bit. It was after quarantine. I was completely lost.
Mhm.
I this is before my fiance and I took over the gym,
Mhm.
and gained a bunch of weight, got a little depressed. Then then I started acting,
Mhm.
um, and lost weight. Well, actually, I lost weight before, and that built up a lot of confidence
Mhm.
in me, and started acting. Flash forward 3 years later, um, I wasn't getting booked a lot.
Mhm.
Um, I was and I wasn't. I mean, typical our actor life is, it's what they say, 10 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
It's yeah, something with wrestling. It's
Mhm.
gonna be the same thing. So, wasn't getting booked. I had some downtime, and I just figured, I've always had a dream as a kid to be a pro wrestler.
Mhm.
Um, let me let me see what I could do to make this dream happen.
Mhm.
And even not just like have like a like one class to see if I'm even capable of being it.
Mhm.
Because um and I looked up top wrestling schools, was about to do New Japan,
Mhm.
but then Santino Bros came on my radar
Mhm.
because I looked up some shows to go. I wanted to get into indie wrestling,
Mhm.
and Santino Bros always popped up.
Okay.
So found out that they had a wrestling school, and I kind of almost joked with my girl. I was like, "Do you want to just take this tryout class?"
Mhm.
She said, "Yeah."
Oh,
So
so she did it. So you guys did the day one training to test
yeah,
it out. Okay.
yeah, it was that first tryout class. Mainly a lot of cardio that
Mhm.
they throw at you, and then rolls. And if you have enough time, they'll start doing bumps.
Mhm.
So we both did it. We both fell in love with it.
Mhm.
Honestly, we crushed the workout. Um, my girl, she was always more athletic than me in the rolls. Like I couldn't even do a quarter roll to save my life
Re-
on that tryout. But that moment, that's uh, when I told myself, yeah, I'm gonna be a wrestler. I'm gonna do whatever it takes
Mhm.
to make this happen. And shortly after that, that trial class paid for the whole program, basically paid in full.
Wow.
Just
You went all in.
went all in. Yeah, and that's another thing about me. I'm very stubborn,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna make sure like I get it done. You know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So it's been so that trial class was December 2023, um, and I started training January 2024.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then having your match,
Yeah.
your first match, about what, a month, a half
Uh,
ago?
yeah. February 6th.
Yeah. So, at what point in the training did the DRE come to be? The
Oh,
character. When did you start seeing that? Hey, was it something you always thought about doing from the beginning? About being a director wrestler, or it kind of just happened naturally?
it so that was actually the second gimmick I was messing around with.
Really?
The first one I was I was doing I was calling myself Dre Day,
Okay.
just because I got that nickname a lot.
Hmm.
Um, and uh, and I would start this thing like before a match. What day is it? And
Very
then
good.
trying to get people to say Dre Day, but it was just silence. So it wasn't. I wasn't getting any pops during that.
And that's usually something that a lot of wrestlers, it takes time for them to, I guess, to learn, is to, when
Yeah,
you get the crowd interacting with you, that's when you got them. It's
yeah.
you're that's really the goal. And if you correct me if I'm wrong, is trying to get them involved with the match, and then that's when you have them. That's a
Oh
hook that
yeah,
you need.
yeah. That's even. It's even more important than the moves,
Hmm.
and which is good for me because like I can't do like backflips.
Hmm.
I could do front flips, but now I can't do a whole bunch of flips. But like once you have the crowd in your hands,
Hmm.
that's when real magic happens. That's the something I'm learning too, just to get more even crowd involvement in my matches.
Hmm.
But yeah, when Dre Day wasn't working, and even if Dre Day worked, um, there wasn't anywhere else I could. Maybe there would be, but there wasn't anywhere else naturally I could go with.
Hmm.
Um, so then what if I just be me times 10,
Yeah.
which is, instead of an aspiring actor or working actor, maybe I'm this top shot Hollywood actor
Hmm.
that turned into wrestling,
Yeah.
maybe like a Johnny Cage, um,
Nice. Good reference.
if he wanted to be a wrestler.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's really, and a lot of my content has to do with the fact of comparing pro wrestling storylines, certain things where it intertwines with films.
yeah.
One of the ideas I've had for a very long time is Cody Rhodes being Simba. His story
Oh,
being,
yeah,
the
yeah,
Lion King, of him leaving Pride Rock, him leaving WWE, going and finding the Bucks and Timon and Pumbaa type thing, and coming back and reclaiming his kingdom. That's kind of always a lot of people. I guess in a way, speaking in layman's terms, if a non wrestling fan were to get into it one day, will
yeah.
explain this to me. If we were to explain it to them, you know, name for name and everything, they won't get it.
Mhm.
But if you kind of put a story like, well, it's like Lion King.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it. So, but that's really good. I always love that about you, that you incorporate film and acting and everything.
Oh, yeah. Thank
Um,
you.
Was your family supportive about the decision to go for wrestling?
Um, my parents, yeah, yeah, no. They've always been supportive. Um, especially when because I used to do music,
Mhm,
um, and that's something I want to get back to later on in life. But they've always been supportive of music,
mhm,
and then when I getting into like mid 20s, that I decided I want to be an actor.
mhm.
They were they were supportive, but then they were like, "All right, maybe you should think about making money too." And then when I turned 29, that's when I started telling them, "Hey, I'm gonna start training to be a pro wrestler."
Mhm,
They were supportive, but then they were like, "All right, maybe you need to look for another job. Maybe you need to go to lineman school because
mhm,
my dad's a lineman. He does very well for himself.
mhm,
Maybe you need to do that." Um, but they saw how dedicated I became uh, training. What I don't know, 3 5 times a week,
mhm,
and then them coming to my debut match. Then now they like really see the vision.
mhm.
They're very supportive. They're always wearing my shirts every,
Yeah.
every every time I'm wrestling now.
And also
Yeah,
recording your matches. I recently saw
yeah,
your mom is the best fan. I've
yeah,
seen that.
man.
Where I think I forgot what wrestler it was. At the one at Don Quixote, and you guys ended up
Oh yeah, yeah,
coming down the stairs. You guys left the
yeah.
ring, came down.
Honest
It's
John.
okay. Okay, Honest John. Yes, that was
Yeah,
the one. And she's right there, and supporting you and telling him to f off. And it was really good. I was like, you know what? That's awesome that
yeah,
your family's supportive and it shows on camera and in the crowds too. The first match I saw you in, you
yeah.
had a fan section in your debut match
That was
with
crazy.
signs and all.
That was crazy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, also talking about your debut match, your entrance music,
Yeah, yeah.
Spice Girls "Wannabe," great, great song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was it inspired by a scene from Small Soldiers, or am I wrong on that one?
Oh, yeah, that's another deep cut. Actually, it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
but I know what scene you're talking about. Um, I wanted the crowd to get involved right when the entrance starts because I know our trainers say the match starts when your entrance starts.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get the crowd involved. I wanted a song that everyone
Mm-hmm.
knew already. They could probably sing along, dance
Mm-hmm.
along too. Um, and that's I like the juxtaposition of having this really poppy song
Yeah.
that someone I don't know a male pro wrestler ideally shouldn't come out to, but I kind of want to break that boundary, come out to that, but also try to be vicious in the ring
Yeah.
and just have that juxtaposition position with my character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and actually, I was kind of thinking of changing the music
Okay.
because I was thinking about Anderson Pack come down,
Okay.
but
It's harder to use those songs because then
yeah,
at some point, if you were to get signed, you would have to
oh yeah, I
completely
gotta start
let it
over.
get start over
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
when you have your own logo and your own music and everything, like I think MJF would probably be the best example
Mhm.
using non-copyrighted music for his entrance, and now he could use it whether he goes to WWE or stays in
Yeah,
AEW. So that's also good. You're thinking ahead pretty much. Is like, yeah, I
yeah,
would like to use this, but that will
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, I know for sure. That's a cool part of wrestling. As I'm gonna start wrestling in the indies,
Hmm.
and be able to have a little bit more control of your music
Hmm.
like that. Um, yeah, I know for sure when I get signed, I do want to have either a hyper pop
Okay.
um type track
Is
as
there
an
a certain
entrance.
artist you would like to perform your song in the big stage when you get there?
Oof, damn, that's rough. That's a hard question.
We could get back to
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But
yeah,
going back to your image and to your presentation, your gear,
yeah,
original.
yeah.
How did that come about? Did you see something you liked, and where did you get all that gear from?
Yeah, so I wanted first of all, I wanted something to show off my tattoos
Hmm.
because eventually I want to incorporate like a knee finisher, and I got both knees tatted. Um, and I wanted to just be a little bit different compared to all the other wrestlers, and I've always loved Muay Thai shorts.
Okay.
Uh, I I've only trained Muay Thai like once or twice or so,
Okay.
but I love the look of those trunks where they kind of flare out a little bit. Um, and Samoa Joe
Yeah.
got some cool, really cool shorts. Hook. I've always loved that type of look. CM Punk.
Hmm.
So I actually got a couple gear makers that made them. So my first gear I ever made was by Moizilla.
Okay.
So he made that, and then D.R.E Apparel made three other pieces of gear for me.
Hmm.
Shorts, knee pads, elbow pads,
Hmm.
and all of them are sick. I'm super blessed. I found the right people to make the right gear.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And it's originality because you don't see gear like that usually. I think the best examples, like we were talking about earlier, Buddy Matthews, using
yeah,
the skirt, and then like you said, CM Punk when his early AEW days when he did that.
yeah.
That's really good. Um, Going on to the next question, what's more thrilling to you, a pro wrestling show or being on a film set?
Oh, pro wrestling show.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've like don't get me wrong, like acting is a huge passion of mine, and I'm I'm always gonna do it till the day I die. And acting is something I could, once I retire when I'm like 50 or so from wrestling, that's something I could keep going till my 70s or 80s. But man, there's nothing like being on a pro wrestling show. It's or
It's
being in a
insane.
match. It's like starting off with my debut, like I was almost in tears just because there was just a lot of emotions running
Mhm.
um right before I step out the curtain.
Yeah.
And and once you step out, all of that nervousness kind of just goes away and the training takes over. Your
Mhm.
character takes over. Like if I could sell that in a pill form, you'll we'll make millions.
Yeah.
If I could. Yeah.
Talking about going back to your first match, did you feel pressure when the opportunity came that when your trainers have said, "Hey, you're ready. Your first match is coming." What was going through your mind?
Hmm. Felt I felt a lot. I mean, yeah, there was pressure like I cuz before we had soft debuts under the hood. So if I messed up, missed the spot, at least no one would know.
Mhm.
But this, like, if I screw up, people are gonna know.
Mhm.
Um, so there was a pressure of that, pressure of just remembering my spots with Biagio because Biagio he calls a lot.
Mhm.
He definitely calls a lot, but he's such a gem to work with
Okay.
in the ring. Um, and wrestling in front of my family that was a lot. Just getting emotionally and mentally ready
Mhm.
to do that. But but I knew like deep down inside, I knew I was ready.
Mhm.
My coaches kept affirming that I was ready. I was ready to go, and I'm actually glad it took me a year to debut because I know everyone's journey is different. Some
Mhm.
people debut 6 months, 7 months, um, and I'm glad it took me a year just to be um, mentally, emotionally ready to make that debut. And yeah, and all I had to do was just like keep my ears open and
Okay.
let the vet Biagio just
Call
you
it in
know
the ring and call out the match, and then
yeah,
take direction. You had to be directed that night.
yeah,
Really, really think about it.
yeah, for sure.
Do you have a pre-match routine that gets you through the night? Any music that's playing in your AirPods?
Oh, I don't play any music.
Really?
Actually, I just try to be just in the moment. Because I haven't tried playing any music. Um, just because I want to stay present if I run into my whoever I'm running the match with.
Mhm.
We'll call it again. Ba, 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 go back, and then I'm just lacing my boots, uh, doing some mobility warm ups.
Mhm.
Call it again whenever I feel like I need it again, and then just rinse and repeat until it's time to go.
Yeah.
Um, but for sure, a ritual would definitely be working on my mobility.
Okay.
Make sure my hips are good, um, knees are feeling good, shoulders. I always carry a band in my suitcase.
Hmm.
Do pull aparts,
Nice.
squat and press, um, just to make sure I'm feeling good.
Speaking of backstage, again, Does Slice Boogie need to be sent to straight to video?
Oh yeah, totally.
What
Yeah,
happened there? Like,
yeah,
how does a person like in the video you refer to you as a rookie,
yeah.
which is very disrespectful. But given the circumstances, you haven't been training long. But what does one do there? What is the D.R.E.'s next move with that? Will we see a Slice Boogie match in the future?
Oh, you know what?
Would you like
I
to
think
give a couple words to Slice if you can?
ah, what do I say to Slice? Huh. Slice Boogie. I know you're king of the concrete jungle, and you've done amazing work as a Santino Bros heavyweight champion. But in my world, you're just a day player. I'm on the top of this call sheet right here. And just like how Damien said, I am going to take you straight to video. And when the ref counts 1, 2, 3, then you'll know that you're messing with the D.R.E. And that was very disrespectful. That really pissed my mom off. So I'm going to get you for that.
Nice, nice. It's actually the first promo we had on here, and I'm really excited for that. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but also another thing that I want to get into when you compare wrestling and films, would you like to? Is there any film that you would like to see be put into a pro wrestling storyline? A film that you see that could work if you were to book pretty much a segment between two wrestlers or a match
Oh.
or a rivalry? What film would you use as inspiration?
Huh. That's a really good question.
If you
I
need-
don't know, especially because we were talking about Paul Thomas Anderson.
Mhm.
What if we had like something like The Master kind of played on a
I didn't even
pro
think of
wrestling
that.
segment? Have you seen The Master?
Of course.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Philip Seymour Hoffman, yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. Maybe if someone went up, a pro wrestler, maybe like a rookie,
Hmm.
uh, went up to an established vet,
Yeah.
but that established vet had more of a darker past and
Hmm.
darker intentions,
Nice.
trying to build up this rookie.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
That's a good one.
That'd be
Actually,
cool.
that's a good. I didn't expect
Yeah.
that answer. Yeah, no, and I'm not saying like, oh, it's just, yeah, I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah. You could play with the cult
the
like
cult thing
type
and
of
everything.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. That's actually a really good one.
Yeah.
But let's also get into some of your background as well. You also own a gym.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk
Yeah.
about how that came to be?
Yeah. So this was actually a gym that my fiance and I started training. I always started training there. Oh shoot, maybe when I was 21, 22.
Mhm.
And it was actually my mom and her business partner. They were the ones that, well, more specifically, her business partner owned the first gym in Norwalk,
Mhm.
and then they branched out. My mom got a location of her own, and another trainer got their own location, and they were pretty successful. And I was pretty content just being a trainer.
Mhm.
And then after COVID, just you know, uh, 3 locations turned into 2. Um, and my mom definitely got burnt out from running it,
Mhm.
and she wanted to go in more real estate. So she basically offered it to us, just we take over the clients, um, and uh, yeah. So we took that over, and it's definitely a lot of work,
Mhm.
you know. And a lot of it credit goes to my fiance because she deals with most of the administrative work, running ads. We're still trying to figure out how to really run ads the right way. And I take over more of like the training programs for the clients, writing all their workouts and their meal plans. Um, but yeah, that's like if I could split my whole life into 3 segments, it would be the gym, straight up fitness, acting. Acting and wrestling will probably be just 1, and then my family. So those are the straight up fitness. The gym is part of the big 3 that pretty much like runs my life. Um, and it's freaking awesome. We're super blessed. We have the best clients
Mhm.
Um, and we're out in Hawaiian Gardens if anyone wants to come in and get a workout. Yeah.
What's the name of the gym so we could
Oh
get
yeah.
some of the
Straight up fitness.
State of Fitness? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only on Instagram, and then you guys anywhere else? Also on YouTube? No comment?
Um, no. We don't really run anything on YouTube, or
Oh,
all of our content is mainly
on
on
Instagram.
either TikTok or Instagram.
Okay.
But straightupfitness.hd
Okay.
on Insta.
Nice.
Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying about that, about having to split your lives,
Mhm.
living the life of a pro wrestler actor, we'll put that into one.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship, running a business. Do you ever feel some type of like duality, dealing with the duality of having to be everywhere all the time, especially when fans come up to you?
Mhm.
You have to put on the front, kind of like putting on a mask. I'm not saying that you're
Yeah.
hiding anything, but you want to give the fans a great experience. But hey,
Yeah.
it was probably a rough night at the office. What
Mm.
helps you? What motivates you to put on that good experience for them, and also keeping up with your responsibilities?
Oh yeah. Um, it kind of comes from my old boss, the one that originally started Straight Up Fitness, out in Norwalk. He always had a thing in our trainer manual, like whatever crap you're going through, or if anything good you're going through, just you gotta once you enter through the doors of the gym, you gotta just switch.
Yeah.
You gotta turn on a light switch, and you gotta be in full trainer mode, full customer service mode. And I kind of take that just everywhere I go, whether it's being on set, even if it was like today, I was was on set for a fitting, and it's like uh the drive just killed me,
Yeah.
and I got lost and all that. But right when I go in, I just switch it off, switch it on,
Hmm.
and just be present as possible. Forget all the crap that I just gone through. That's a little example, but I try to apply that everywhere, um, especially wrestling a match, or even talking with the fans, like just
Hmm.
switching on. Yeah, and and I know I have my character, but it really, in all reality, it's really myself times 10.
Hmm.
So I could still get away with really being myself,
Hmm.
but also just focusing on that fan and just being in their presence.
What was the best advice that your trainers at Santino Brothers gave you? Whether it been Joey, whether it been anybody else that took the time,
Mm.
what was the best advice that you took from that training center?
Uh, keep your mouth closed and ears open.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard that one a lot from that. So it's
yeah,
really good advice.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. That and even after this debut, from a month ago, just never stop training.
mhm.
I'm still going at least maybe 2, 3 times in the a week in the dojo, just to get reps in, perfect my shine, all that. Yeah.
Where do you see? How do you see the pro wrestling world right now? It having its resurgence, being so popular, and you being a part of that as well. Um,
Yeah.
What's your favorite segment right now? Whether it been WWE, AEW, anything in New Japan? What's like a something that has you hooked right now? Are you keeping up with the
Ooh.
product?
Yeah. Of course. Of course. Um, for sure, it's got to be in WWE. Um, the obvious one would be, the Cody Rhodes Cena.
Hmm.
That would be the obvious one. Um, another one is just I keep seeing uh just Dominic Mysterio's transformation.
How do you feel
Like,
about that?
I love it, man.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank
Like,
you.
it's just so cool because like I remember when he was tagging with his dad.
Hmm.
He was getting just trashed online,
Hmm.
and
It
just
was a
seeing
little
that.
bit cringe, right?
Yeah,
We weren't gonna believe it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was really hard to get into because he was so like clean cut.
yeah,
I'm with my dad, like my
yeah,
dad looks like my son. It was just weird to see. But then the heel turn happened,
yeah.
which was I think in Bash at Berlin when I think that was the pay per view when he finally
Um,
clotheslined his dad. I might be wrong on that one,
what thing
but
was Clash of the Castle?
Clash of the
That's the one
Castle,
when
yeah,
he kicked Edge. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah, yeah,
Clash of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Castle.
yeah.
But it's awesome, and it's one thing that I really what I really love about that rivalry that's been so long. It's long term storytelling at its best. But someone asked me, do you think Ray would ever turn heel? And tell me if you're
Oh,
into this or if this is something that like it's interesting. If Ray were to ever turn heel, it would be a situation where Dominic would be begging for his forgiveness. Maybe he finally realized I've been wrong all these years,
yeah,
and then Ray's the one to give the clothesline to him. Because if you really think about it, Ray has always been done wrong.
yeah,
Whether it been Eddie turning on him, Batista turned on him. Many people have always given Ray that. Ray's always been like the heel turner.
yeah,
And I feel like if Ray to be a heel ever in his career, other than what he did in WCW, it would be turning on his own son, saying, "No, this is where I draw the line." Do
uh,
you see that happening?
So like Dominic would turn face
He
by
would
asking for forgiveness and kind
forgiveness,
of
trying
changing
to
it. Okay,
redemption,
okay.
but Ray doesn't take it because at the end of the day, he has to
Oh,
teach his son tough love. Like, no, there's consequences for all the actions you've ever
shoot.
done.
Yeah, I feel like that could work,
Hmm.
but I also feel like the crowd could be vicious and just cheer on Ray
That's something a
if
lot of
he
people
comes
don't
in.
understand. The
Yeah,
fans, the fans are rough,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
AW fans. I don't know if you've ever been to a live show.
At
AW.
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
It's way more rowdy crowd than WWE for sure, and they'll turn on you.
yeah.
Especially, I thought it was going to happen. I attended AEW Revolution
Hmm.
last night, and I was really hoping Brody King was going to win. It's his city,
Hmm.
it's his venue, pretty much. I mean, he's not from LA, but he's from the coast and everything.
Yeah,
It was for the con. It was against Okada, and Okada ended up going over. I really thought that crowd would have turned, and I'm glad it didn't because LA could be a rowdy crowd.
yeah,
But yeah, that's
yeah, yeah, man. Even like yeah, because I went to a couple of AD like 3 AEW shows,
mhm,
and yeah, they're pretty rough in the stands,
mhm.
on the floor. They're
They'll
pretty rough.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Especially when the God bless the women that come out, but
Mhm.
yeah, you hear some nasty stuff from
Do you have a Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling?
man. Kurt Angle's got to be up there,
Okay. What version of Kurt Angle?
and the one I grew up with in the ruthless aggression era.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The one that was on SmackDown and it was during
yeah,
the era of his with him and Brock,
yeah,
which is such a good pair. The stars aligned for those two.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah, yeah,
a lot of people don't give Brock his. I mean, now they do, but back then Brock was really another animal. I
yeah,
mean, it was really good. We had two Olympics, actually collegiate style wrestlers,
yeah. They could
and
tear each
actually
other.
made you believe it,
Yeah.
especially WrestleMania 19, their match at the main event. I absolutely love that WrestleMania. I thought I preferred the 19 over 17. I'm one of those
Oh.
people that feels like even though 17 was like the greatest,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like 19 had a lot more. We had the Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels.
Okay,
We
yeah,
had
yeah.
Booker and Triple H.
I gotta rewatch that.
Oh yeah, go
Yeah,
check it
I gotta
out.
rewatch it.
Rock Austin 3 will
Yeah.
be the Austin's last match until coming back.
Mm, okay.
So what
Yeah.
next matches do we have in the horizon for the D.R.E?
Yeah. When is this gonna come out?
In a couple days. It'll be
Couple
this
days?
week.
Okay. Yeah, so March 16th. I'm pretty sure I'm doing the pre-show
Okay.
on Dream Slam
Jerusalem. Okay.
in Anaheim. Yeah. So we got that. Um I may do a little something with Danger Pro in San Diego this
Okay.
Friday. We'll see. But I'm gonna go up, help with ring crew,
Okay.
see if I could get a spot or not. And then we always got matches, Santino Bros every first and third Tuesday.
Okay.
Thursday,
Okay.
first and third Thursday of the month. And not sure who I'm gonna face.
Okay.
Actually, I have a couple ideas. There's a couple people I want. Slice
Slice
for
is one
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, but I have a feeling with Slice. I mean, hate the term the rookie, but I am the rookie. So I feel like they want me to prove myself.
Yeah.
Maybe like 3 or 4 more matches until I get a shot.
Mhm.
Next one, I really do want Oscar Felix though.
Oscar Felix.
Oh yeah.
Nice. That would be a good mix, actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With all the with all the changes in your life, going from one career to another, going after your dreams, would you say that it's all worth it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Um, especially like going through this whole transformation of just having a lot of self-doubt uh like during quarantine, just having a lot of self-doubt, just feeling lost, um, just changing directions in life to now saying, all right, what what the, what people say, like go after your dreams, is not just a cliche. It's like
Mhm.
really, it's legit. Like go after your dreams. Um, pursuing acting, pursuing wrestling, it's all worth it. And it's never too late to do it. Like I felt as I was reaching 30, I felt like I it would have been too late already. I should have been maybe just been training in my 20s. But then I hear a lot of people that debuted post 30s.
Yeah.
Like,
DDP.
yeah, yeah, he's the main example.
Yeah.
Um, so just pursuing pro wrestling has been worth it. Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen later down the line. You know, the different opportunities, different people that I'll be able to connect with.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm freaking stoked, man.
Nice. What is
Yeah,
the
man.
legacy that the DRE wants to leave?
Legacy. Yeah, it ties in with the previous question. You know, just going after your dreams. That's what the DRE stands for. It stands for a lot of things like Dre runs everyone, Dre
Mhm.
runs everything, Dre requires excellence. But the main thing is dream, rebel, elevate, and just really pursuing what you really want, not what society uh, or even what your parents would have want you to do. If I really listened to my parents, I would have given up on all my art and just uh, try to make you know trying to make it as a lineman and do that, which I would have been miserable, even though like a lot of respect goes out to them.
Mhm.
They do a lot for the community, but I don't know. You kind of have to, if you want to be a dreamer, you kind of have to rebel.
Yeah.
And and I just want to everyone that follows that, I just want them to elevate themselves, elevate their own family by doing that. And yeah, I just want to be able to start a movement where everyone really pursues their dreams, no matter their background. Like, doesn't matter how tall you are, or short you are. Like myself, I'm pretty short for a wrestler, but um, just be able to do that and feel comfortable in your own skin and know that you're not alone in doing that. Um, yeah, definitely sounds like mumble jumble. The now that I think about it, but I just want to leave a legacy like that.
Awesome.
You
And
know?
thank you for flipping the script,
Yeah,
coming into the pro wrestling world, making pro wrestling your new Hollywood. I am very happy that I got to sit down with you and talk wrestling, talk your career,
yeah,
get to know more of the DRE, the man, that's directing this film that
yeah,
we call your career.
yeah,
And I'm ready for the ride. I'm ready to see how many installments of this film we're gonna see of the DRE.
yeah.
You're a real true you're a true talent, honestly.
Thank
And
you
I
so
said that
much,
from the
bro.
moment I saw you, and the reason I approached your fiance and told him we gotta work together.
Yeah,
And I love all my guests that's always been on. Anyone that's ever stepped foot in this podcast, I see something in them. That's why I choose my guests. And I wish I could talk to everybody all the time.
yeah,
There's just time constraints and everything, and I'm very happy that we got to sit down and do this and be my
yeah,
first in-person interview. So
yeah,
with
man.
that, man, thank you
Hey,
for coming in so
thank you so
much.
much, bro.
So this is a wrap on the Cutting Room podcast with the DRE. Where can we find you online?
Dre runs everyone on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I'm posting all my promos, all my upcoming matches, um, highlight reel, BTS, all of that.
Nice. And you can find me, the only Damien King, on Instagram, the Cutting Room Podcast on YouTube, the only Damien King also on TikTok, and that's a cut.